All right, let's continue with the story around load shedding or blackouts. The Durban Chamber of Commerce and Industry is very concerned by the implementation of stage 4 power cuts yesterday. It says crucial industry sectors are losing productivity, which inevitably leads to revenue losses, unplanned expenses and disrupted value chains. I'm joined now by Gladwin Malishe, the Chamber's president, to discuss the blackout's effect on business. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on eNCA. Now, of course, besides the fact that we become frustrated by Eskom power cuts and frustrated when NERSA allows them those tariff hikes, there's also the concern about our economy, which is shrinking.
Yes, Masego and the viewers, we are very devastated by what is happening because we are actually in the middle of the pandemic. And that also affects business. So with all of the tariff highs and the unemployment, business wishes to employ a lot of people. But with all of this Eskom load shedding, it actually affects business. And we will see absolutely bad results in terms of our GDP if it continues like this.
And when you affect business, you also probably in turn will affect employment. Am I correct?
Absolutely. You even saw the last result of unemployment that is actually growing. So with all of this happening now with load shedding, businesses will actually have to cut down. You know, if you look at, for instance, the informal sector, which hires about 8 million people, if you have now this load shedding coming to stage 4, you are losing productivity, people can't come and buy. You don't have money to buy generators and the other things that you can use for energy. In fact, what can you do? The only thing that you do is to cut the cost, and your cost will be employees. And that is actually a problem because it affects our country employment rate. And also, if we do that, it means that we're increasing the levels of crime. One of the things that business does is that when you employ people, you're actually contributing in making sure that there's less crime, there's less poverty. So if now we are affected by electricity like this, it means this country is really in a very problematic state.
There's also the option of alternative power or alternative electricity. Is that possible, or are businesses saying that this is a problem of affordability?
Well, it is affordability for now to some extent. In fact, to many of the SMMEs, because they don't have money to buy such generators and so on. So it is actually a point of affordability. But just on that point, if Eskom and government can come to business and say, these are the issues that we have, we can't really give you electricity, what can you do as business? I promise you, Masego, that business will come on board and business will give you solutions. The only thing that Eskom and government needs to do is to bring now business on board. And if you start doing that, that's where we can work together to come with solutions. I can tell you that we can create energy industry that's going to employ people, that's going to make sure that we are also contributing to the African energy. You know, it's a possibility that business can bring on the table. I think that our government needs to really look into bringing business now on board.
What else is the solution, sir? Because we've had power cuts since 2008. They have not gone away. We've had them every single year. A lot of people would say they're not going anywhere. But, of course, not just business, but individual households can't really afford the option of alternative electricity. So what do we do while we try to, or while we wait until government has sorted out this issue with Eskom?
Well, policy certainty is very important on the renewable energy. We need to really know where we stand. We can't, move up and down. This is what's happening, in fact, right now. If we can have a policy certainty from government, business will start following that. What we can do right now, for instance, if government is saying, can we subsidize, businesses when they buy generators and so on, in order to make sure that they are not taking too much energy from Eskom, that could be another solution that business could actually be assisted in terms of doing their businesses. And if that is happening and there are subsidies on the renewable energy, that would actually create another industry, another employment. In fact, the opportunity there is that you are now bringing a manufacturing industry back in terms of manufacturing these things. So it's an option that we believe that if government needs ideas in terms of those things, we are here to say, this is what you can do. That will actually assist you while you're still working on the issues of Eskom. By the time you are done with Eskom, this country would have turned to something else. And it's an opportunity for those who are previously disadvantaged to get into the energy industry.
And of course, a lot of South Africans would be very despondent because of the news that you find out through state capture and other means about the state utility.
It's very sad. It's very sad what is happening, but we are very happy that things like this are coming up. But what is important is what is the way forward. We can't sit and keep on listening to these things. What is the, after people have testified, what is the way forward? But besides that, how do we transform this thing? How can we change from having one entity like Eskom giving us electricity, one or two people playing around with our money, our taxpayers' money, to enrich themselves? What can we do to make sure we expand this thing, we allow other small entities to come on board, especially on the renewable energy? These are the opportunities. As we see what is happening on the state capture, we should be saying there is a problem of having one entity giving us electricity. We should be advocating for having more companies coming on board.
Gladwin Malishe, thank you very much for your time here on eNCA. He is, of course, the president of the Durban Chamber of Commerce and Industry.